नमस्कार इश्टानो. फाल्यां 20 मार्च 2025 सांचे 4 वरांचेर पणजी चर्च स्क्वेराचेर प्रोटेस्ट ऑर्गनायज केल्लो आहा. पिसफूल प्रोटेस्ट तुमकां इतल्यान सगळ्यांक म्हायती पावलीच आसतली. सो हो प्रोटेस्ट बेजिकली जातलो सिग्नेचर कॅम्पेनाच्यान. सगळे लोक आमी थंय जमतले. आमी एक रेप्रेजेंटेशन रेडी केला, तें हांव तुमकां वाचून दाखोवपाक जाय म्हणून हो व्हिडिओ. सो क्रोनोलॉजी अशी आसतली, आमी सगळे जाण जमतले. आमी लेटर हे पळय आतां रीड आवट करता, प्लस फाल्यां रीड आवट करतले, तुमची प्रतिक्रिया बीन घेतले. सगळे येता तेंच्यांनी कृपा करून थंयसर सायन मारची, सो दॅट यू आर गिवींग कन्सेंट. आमचे जे डिमांड्स आसा न्ही, ह्या लेटराचे कंटेंट तुमकां मान्य आसा म्हणून हे सगळ्यांचे सायनी जाल्यो काय मागीर आमी पिसफूल एक मार्च सीएमाच्या बंगल्यार आल्तीन घेवन वयतले. सो बिफोर स्टार्टींग ऑफ विथ द कंटेंट ऑफ द लेटर आनी एक 2 अपील करपाक सोदता हांव. पयली अपील आमच्या सगळ्या एक्टिविस्ट भावांक जे गांवांनी वावुरता तांकां अपील करता की तुमी सुद्दां आपल्या सायडींतल्यान आपल्या तरेन अपील्स करची. फाल्यांचो प्रोटेस्ट व्हडा संख्येन लोक येव सारके तुमच्या सायडींतल्यान अपील जावप गरजेचें, सो दॅट लॉट मेनी पीपल कम टू नो अबाउट दीस प्रोटेस्ट एंड दे पार्टिसिपेट इन दीस प्रोटेस्ट ऑफ टुमारोज विच हॅज बीन प्लॅन्ड. सो तुमचे कडेन मागता की तुमी अपील करा, सो दॅट तुमच्या गांवच्या लोकांकूय अवेरनेस जावनी आनी ते ह्या प्रोटेस्टाक पार्टिसिपेट जावनी म्हणून. दुसरी अपील आहा सगळ्या ऑपोजिशन पार्ट्यांक. ही अपील ऑपोजिशन पार्टी अलॉंग विथ द MLAs प्रोटेस्टाक येवचे म्हणून अपील ही. आनी ही पर्टिक्युलरली पब्लीक ट्रस्ट रिस्टोर जावपाक ही अपील गरजेची आहा आनी MLAंचें पार्टिसिपेशन इम्पॉर्टंट आहा. कित्याक तर TCP मिनिस्टर बाब विश्वजीत राण्यान पयर जो लास्ट प्रेस कॉन्फरन्स घेतला रातचो 10:30 वरांचेर, तितून तेणी धडधडीत सांगलेलें आसा की ऑपोजिशन MLAन सुद्दां ह्या 17/2 एडवांटेज घेतलेलो आहा. तुमकां नांवां सांगूंक काय म्हणून तो प्रेसाक ऑफर करतालो. ती तेणी नांवां सांगूं ना, पूण आतां लोकूय पळयता. तेणी नांवां सांगूं ना, पूण जर फाल्यां ते प्रोटेस्टाक हजर रावना जाल्यार ऑटोमॅटिकली कोण ऑपोजिशन MLAs आमदार त्या लोकांकूय कळटले. म्हणून तुमचे कडेन मागता की तुमी येवचे. सो आतां आमी तिसरो जो विशय आसलेलो ह्या व्हिडिओचो तो म्हटल्यार लेटर कंटेंट रीड आवट करपाक, की फाल्यां आमी खंयचें लेटर कितें पत्र दितले पळय तेजें कंटेंट कितें आहा तें जाणून घेवया इश्टानो. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. कॅम्प चर्च स्क्वेअर, पणजी, गोवा. टू डॉक्टर प्रमोद सावंत, चीफ मिनिस्टर, गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ गोवा, सेक्रेटेरिएट, पर्वरीम, गोवा, 20th March 2025. Subject: request for the dismissal of Shri Vishwajit Rane from the cabinet post of Minister for Forest and Minister for Town and Country Planning. Dear Honorable Dr. Sawant, we, the undersigned citizens of Goa, respectfully submit this collective and considered representation requesting your immediate intervention for the dismissal of Shri Vishwajit Rane from his post as Minister for Forest and Minister for Town and Country Planning. Our concern stems not from his ministerial misconduct alone, but from the extensive damage his actions have inflicted upon the state governance, ecological integrity and public trust. Shri Rane's tenure has been marked by multiple instances of breach of public trust with actions that have severely undermined the statutory frameworks intended to protect Goa's environment and public welfare. Our particular concern is his role in facilitating the systematic impairment of ecozones and disintegration of Regional Plan for Goa 2021, a plan that the government of Goa had identified as a cornerstone of the state's identity and sustainable development. We further allege that as Minister for Town Planning, Shri Rane has engaged in corrupt practices, consistently prioritizing private gains over public interest, for which substantial evidence exists. The following details outline the major instances of misconduct and maladministration that necessitate urgent action. A. Town planning matters. 1. Amendment to Section 17(2) of the Town Planning Act. Shri Rane's active role in pushing through the controversial 17(2) amendment to the Town Planning Act allowed for the arbitrary rezoning of land almost exclusively for private gain. This amendment resulted in the conversion of approximately 26.5 lakh square meters of land, generating conversion charges exceeding rupees 260 crores. This sum would undoubtedly not include significant amounts collected through shadow payments, undoubtedly reflecting gross violations of public trust. The High Court's subsequent ruling dated 13/3/2025 in PIL writ petition number 16 of 2023, which restrained further amendments under section 17(2), affirmed the irregularity of these conversions and indicated that they were likely unsustainable under the law. Despite this, Shri Rane's failure to tender his resignation is both inexplicable and irresponsible. 2. Misuse of public funds for legal defense. The expenditure of more than rupees 3 crores for legal representation in the High Court without the requisite approval from the Finance Department is a serious breach of protocol and a gross misuse of taxpayer money. Moreover, it is evident that this legal defense primarily served to protect the interests of real estate developers benefiting from the rezoning, rather than upholding the public interest. Third, introduction of Section 39A. Following the collapse of Section 17(2), Shri Rane moved swiftly to introduce Section 39A, further expanding his authority to permit private zoning changes in ODPs as well. This provision has similarly been challenged, and the government has wisely refrained from issuing final notification under this section until further legal clarity is obtained. Fourth, corruption and conflict of interest. Shri Rane's involvement in 142nd last minute clandestine zoning changes to benefit his personal real estate interests at the expense of Goa's 5 coastal villages of Kalangut, Kandolim, Parra, Arpora and Nagwa has exacerbated the crisis. These actions, which have led to skyrocketing land prices and the marginalization of ordinary Goans, are emblematic of a broader pattern of misconduct and corruption. Fifth, mismanagement of public resources. Under Shri Rane's leadership, the Town and Country Planning Department has abandoned his core objective and is now predominantly focused on facilitating real estate transactions that benefit private interests. This reflects a troubling disregard for the state's planning laws and the well-being of its citizens. B. Forest Department mismanagement. As Minister for Forests, Shri Rane has exhibited a similar inability to manage the state's vital ecological resources of forests and wildlife. Notable instances of his failure to protect Goa's forests include: 1. Opposition to the Tiger Reserve in Mahadayi Wildlife Sanctuary. Shri Rane's opposition to the establishment of a tiger reserve in the Mahadayi Wildlife Sanctuary, ostensibly to protect his constituency's encroaching interests, undermines Goa's strategic efforts to protect its biodiversity and water resources. 2. Illegal resort construction in Mahadayi Wildlife Sanctuary. Despite the area being a critical wildlife habitat, Shri Rane approved the construction of a resort on the Sulla Plateau within the Mahadayi Wildlife Sanctuary. This project, which threatens the habitat of endangered species such as the slot bear, further underscores his disregard for Goa's environmental protection and wildlife laws. 2. Mismanagement of forest rights settlements. Shri Rane has failed to implement the High Court's directions regarding the settlement of forest rights within national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, despite being granted a 1-year extension. This dereliction of duty reflects his inability to respect the sanctity of judicial orders. 4. Breach of forest regulations. Shri Rane's approval of illegal exclusion of surveyed forest plots directly contradicts both the Supreme Court's order and the principles of sustainable forest management. C. Thus, conclusion. The actions and inactions of Shri Vishwajit Rane, both as Minister for Town and Country Planning and as Minister for Forests, has not only jeopardized Goa's ecological heritage but have also cast a long shadow over the credibility of your government. His continued association with his public office is untenable, and his presence in these vital portfolios is proving to be a liability both to the state and to its citizens. We humbly urge you, Honorable Chief Minister, to act decisively and demand the immediate resignation of Sri Vishwajit Rane from the cabinet. Should this demand be unheeded, it is inevitable that the responsibility for ongoing degradation of Goa's environment and the erosion of public trust, by extension, have to be shared by your administration as well. We place our trust in your leadership to safeguard this interest of the people and the environment of Goa. Yours faithfully. So इश्टानो, हे लेटर फाल्यां सायनिंगाक वयतले, सगळ्यो सायनिंग कंपायल जातल्यो आनी रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑनरेबल चीफ मिनिस्टराक सबमीट जातलें फॉर हीज कन्सिडरेशन. सो तुमच्या कडेन परत एकदां सगळ्यां कडेन मागता, फाल्यां पणजे चर्च स्क्वेरीचेर येवचे आनी आपली उपस्थिती लावची, सायन करचे. मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंटली ह्या लेटराक विचार करा इश्टानो, आमकां हे सगळ्यांक करचेच पडटलें. विचार करा इश्टानो. देव बरें करूं.